favorite weight loss coach. And today I'm going to be going over some portion control tips and tricks. Now, I have a funny story here. So last night I went out to dinner with my husband, and this is something we do fairly frequently, not all the time, but it's definitely not something we avoid. Now that I've lost my weight and I've gotten control over food, I can enjoy my life more and I don't feel anxious or guilty about going out and things like that. So yesterday we went out and we ordered our food, and I ordered very sensibly. It was enough food where I was full, but I didn't feel deprived or like I was missing out. And I wanted a picture with my food, right? So my husband Ryan, he was taking a picture, and I smiled and he took it. And then I took my phone to look at the picture because, you gotta make sure you look cute. You gotta double check. And I looked at this picture, and in the picture, he got my meal, but he also got his meal in it. And the difference in portions of our two meals beside each other was so hilarious. I couldn't help but notice it and have it stand out to me immediately. And the funny thing is, what he ordered was something that I usually always ordered. We would usually eat the same thing. I could competitively eat against him. I could keep up with him, if not surpass him with how much I could eat in the past. And it was just crazy to me because before I had lost, these 70 pounds, and I have control over food, and I do feel satisfied, and I know what my body wants and needs. Before I figured all of this out, I would go to a restaurant and I would feel completely stuffed when I would leave. I'd have to undo a button on my pants. I'd have to take a nap after because I would eat so much, and I would just overindulge and gorge myself because I didn't know when I was going to get that type of food again. So I had to eat it now because I'm starting my diet tomorrow and I'm not going to get it again. And all this crazy psychology stuff that we do in our head. But my point is this, they always say you gain comfort weight in a relationship, right? Well, I'm starting to realize that it's because over time, you start to eat the same amount as your spouse. You start to eat the same amount as your spouse. So when Ryan and I were in the gym, we owned a gym together. And when we owned this gym together, this was the most amount of time we ever spent together up until that point. And so we were eating every meal together. We were up at 4 a.m. to get ready for 6 a.m. classes. So we would go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get sausage egg McMuffins with hash browns. And then on our break, we'd be working through our lunch. So we'd quickly go grab A&W burgers and onion rings and fries. And then on the way home, we both grabbed medium pizzas. And so, definitely unhealthy habit. Definitely didn't prioritize eating healthy and meal prepping and all that. But on top of that, I was also eating exactly what he was eating. Not only the types of food, but the amount of food. And that was the year that I had gained 50 pounds because I was putting everything and everyone above my needs. I was so stressed out in this gym and figuring out how to run a business and keep clients happy. I gained so much weight. And now that I've really controlled my food, my stomach has shrunk. Right? So from years of overindulging and binging and things like that, my stomach had stretched. So it took a lot to fill me up. It took a lot for me to feel satisfied. I was always searching and continually eating until I found the thing that hit the spot. And usually that never happened after the first bite or the first meal, really. I kept eating and dessert and an extra snack. And so after this meal yesterday, I sat there and I was almost too full, but just the right amount. And I was like, wow, I could have never attained this feeling before. I would have left gross, right? Where now I wore a nice tight-fitting dress to the dinner last night. Before, I would have worn a flowy shirt and a pants with a big waistband because I knew that I was going to grow and I didn't want to be uncomfortable while I was at dinner. But now I left and I looked the same after I ate as before I ate. My stomach wasn't protruding, I wasn't stuffed. And so I urge you to pay attention to the amount of food that you are eating, right? It's usually just way too much. We've stretched our stomachs out, so now it's harder for us to get full, and we can keep up with our husbands most of the time, and that's just not healthy. We are smaller creatures. Your husband, most of the time, maybe you've noticed this, he can look at a piece of celery and lose weight, right? Ever notice that? Men lose weight way quicker. It is what it is. Is it fair? No, but we as women, we just need less food. And less food doesn't mean we're going to be hungry, we're going to be starving, and we're not going to be enjoying things. That's not what that means, but it means you do have to be conscious of the actual amount you are eating. So I would say today, if you're watching this, measure everything you're eating. Eat like normal, eat like you normally would. Measure everything, record everything, track it, really look at it and lay out how much food you're actually putting in your mouth, right? One sip here, one nibble here, one bite here, one drive through here, right? One late night snack here. Like really just record it so you can really look at it. Because a lot of the times I have women coming to me and they're like, no, I don't think I eat that poorly. I'm pretty healthy. I choose good things. Whether you know you're eating healthy foods or unhealthy foods, that's irrelevant when it comes to weight loss. It is just a numbers game. It is the amount of calories you are eating overall, not where you are getting your calories from, that determines the number on the scale dropping. Now, healthy versus unhealthy food, healthy food will make you feel better. When you feel better, you make better decisions and you're more likely to want to continue to lose weight. Whereas, if you ate McDonald's every day and you did it properly, yes, you could lose weight, but you would be feeling very good, so it's not going to last. So really, just write it down, lay it out, and look at your portions. You will be shocked at how much you are eating that you mindlessly ate or didn't realize you were nibbling on, and how it adds up over time. We can't get away with eating the same amount as our husbands. I learned that the hard way. I've had to lose 70, 80 pounds now because I gained these habits of spending so much time with my husband, not having time, not prioritizing food, being stressed, emotional eating. Food was always tied to how I emotionally felt. At the end of the day, it was my stress reliever. At the beginning of the day, it got my day going so I could get through the day. In the middle of the day, it helped me stop crashing so I didn't pass out and need a nap. So I had a really toxic relationship with food for a very long time. And I never thought that I'd ever break free of that. And if you're listening to this and you feel that way and you feel like you're really dependent on food and it's controlling you and you're always thinking about it, what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, what food's going to be there. Oh, I shouldn't have that. I feel bad about having that. I have to make up for that tomorrow. If this is on your mind a lot, I want to tell you, I was there. I really, really was. Food, I was obsessed with. It was always on my mind, either in the forefront or going on in the back and something else I was doing. But it was always there because I just didn't understand it and I didn't know what it was for and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. But I want to tell you, the first step to overcoming that and conquering this battle and fight with food is just looking at it more. Paying attention to it more, not avoiding it because we're trying to stop thinking about it. Dive head first into it. Really look at what you're eating. Really look at why you're going for that late night snack. Why you chose to go through the drive-through. Why are you choosing to eat? When are you choosing to eat? And what are the eating habits that aren't serving you anymore? And then, what are the thoughts around those eating habits that are making you continue to do them? Because a lot of the times we know we should be eating less, right? We all know that, but why aren't we doing it? What's the thought that's keeping you stuck? Why do you know you should eat less, but you still aren't? Why do you know you should put the chips down, the chocolate down, but you're not? Why, when your hand is grabbing for that food and you're telling yourself, oh, I know I shouldn't have this, you still grab it and put it in your mouth? That's the first step, understanding that. Ask yourself, why is it happening? And normally it's an emotion that triggered you wanting to do it. And then it's the thought that tricked you into thinking it was okay to do it. So you need to pay attention to the emotion and you need to pay attention to the thought that's convincing you it's okay. Because we're really good at convincing ourselves to do the thing that's going to give us short-term comfort. So please, go check your food portions. Go check everything you're going to eat today. Write it all down at the end of the day and be like, damn, that's why I'm struggling. What's going on? Write it down. Because we can't get away with eating as much as our husbands or our boyfriends or our brothers or the men in our life. It's very shocking. And I do want to let you know, food freedom is possible. But it took me a very, very long time. It took me over 15 years of being enslaved by food. Like, it really was all consuming to me. It was really what I thought about a lot of the time. And I broke free. Over 15 years, I broke free. And I went to that restaurant yesterday and I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed my husband's company. I enjoyed the scenery. I enjoyed every bite. I didn't, zone out like an animal and just rush it down my throat. I enjoyed the event, the experience, the scenery, and the company. Food enhanced my night. It wasn't my night. It wasn't what I looked forward to the most. Food is not the main event. Okay? So, next time you go out, or next time you're going to eat with your husband, compare portions. All right? Compare portions. And I would say cut your portion in half or by 1/3. By 1/3 to 1/2 of what your husband is eating. Start there if you're completely confused, and then start to track your food, not because we're going to make big changes to it, but because in order to change it, you need to know the real truth of it first.